Most people around you don't think you'll actually make it. There's a moment that happens in almost everyone's life where you finally decide you want more for yourself. Maybe it's building your own business. Maybe it's moving up in a company. Maybe it's finally chasing the dream you've talked yourself out of for years because you were scared to fail because, you don't want to look foolish and you're scared people will judge you because it didn't work out. But one day, something changes. You get tired of watching other people live the life you know you're capable of creating. You get tired of feeling stuck, or for the first time, you start believing that maybe your future could actually look different than your present. So you start talking about it. You go to someone who's already successful, someone higher up in the company, someone who owns a business, someone you look up to, and you tell them, hey, I really want to do what you're doing. I want to grow. I want to build something bigger for myself. What should I do? Most of the time, you'll get encouragement. They'll say something like, keep working hard, stay consistent. Hey, you can do it. If you ever need help, reach out. And honestly, in the beginning, that encouragement feels incredible. It gives you confidence, it gives you hope, it makes you feel seen for the first time. It feels like people believe in you. That little push matters more than people realize because at the beginning, most dreams are fragile. They're exciting, but they are fragile. And sometimes all it takes is one person to say, I think you can do it. For you, finally taking that first step. And if you're somebody who's listening to this right now, trying to figure out whether you should finally go all in on yourself, welcome to the Golden Lining. And my name is Kush Nathu. And if these conversations motivate you to think bigger, grow stronger, and push towards the life you know you're capable of living, make sure you like and subscribe because every single episode is built to help you level up mentally, financially, and personally. So, you take the first step. You start the business. You take the risk. You put in the extra hours. You chase the promotion. You sacrifice sleep. You stay up late nights trying to figure out things out nobody else has ever taught you. And then reality hits. Maybe 6 months go by, 8 months, maybe a year, and you fail. The business doesn't grow the way you thought it would. The money gets tight, and people stop supporting you as loudly as they did in the beginning. You start questioning yourself. So you go back to the same people who encouraged you. And this time, the conversation feels a little different. Now they say things like, well, business is really hard. At least you tried. You should still be proud of yourself. Not everybody makes it. And even though those words sound supportive, something about it feels different now. It feels smaller, less hopeful, almost like they expected this outcome all along. But deep down inside, something is still burning. So you say, hey, no, I'm going to try again. And at first, they'll encourage you again. They'll smile. They'll tell you, ooh, to keep going. But here's where life starts teaching you a lesson nobody talks about enough. A lot of people are comfortable cheering for your dream until it actually starts becoming real. Because dreaming is safe to them, trying is entertaining to them, but succeeding, that changes energy completely. The moment your business actually starts growing, the moment you start moving up in the company, the moment your name starts getting noticed, the moment your results become undeniable, you'll notice people start acting differently around you. The same people who used to hype you up suddenly become distant. The conversation feels colder, the support becomes quieter, and behind your back, the opinions begin. He's moving too fast. Oh, she's getting ahead of herself. They're in over their head. It won't last. And the painful part of this is that those words are coming from people you may genuinely respect. Why? Because your progress forces people to look at themselves. As long as you stayed below them, your dream was inspiring. But once you start getting close to where they are, or even surpassing them, it becomes uncomfortable for them. Not because you did something wrong, not because you became arrogant, but because your growth makes them look in the mirror and at the reflection of the risk that they never took. the discipline they never had, and the excuses they continue to make. And that's one of the hardest truths of growth. Some people love the idea of you succeeding as long as your success never challenges their position. Now, don't misunderstand this message because there are absolutely people in this world who genuinely want you to succeed and win. There are people who will celebrate your growth with a pure heart. Those people are rare, and when you find them, appreciate them deeply. But there are also people who encourage you because they never truly think you'll make it. To them, your dream feels harmless. They assume eventually you'll give up, eventually you'll settle, you'll come back down to where everyone else is. And when you don't, that's when the energy shifts. Then comes another phase almost nobody prepares you for, the phase where you surpass expectations completely. Maybe your business takes off, maybe you're financially successful, maybe you rise so far in the company that people can't ignore your name anymore. Now, suddenly, the same people who doubted you start attaching themselves to your story. They'll tell people like, oh, yeah, we're close. Oh, I gave them advice when they were just starting out. I always knew they'd make it. And it's strange because some of those same people were criticizing you when nobody was watching. But success changes perception. People naturally want proximity to momentum. They want association with success. They want to feel connected to someone everybody else is talking about. That's why you cannot build your life based on an outside validation, because people's opinions will change depending on what season you're in. When you're struggling, some will pity you. When you're trying, some will doubt you. And when you're growing, some will resent you. And finally, some will just pretend they believe in you the whole time. So, if your confidence depends on people clapping for you, you're constantly rising and falling based on their emotions. Now that's dangerous because eventually your journey becomes lonely. Not in a sad way, but in a real way. There comes a point where self-belief has to become stronger than applause, than criticism, than doubt, than temporary setbacks. You have to become someone who can keep moving forward when nobody's cheering anymore. That's where separations between people who dream from people who actually build something meaningful. The people who succeed long term are not always the smartest. They're not always the most talented. They're not always the richest. A lot of times, they're simply the people who refuse to stop. They kept going even when it got embarrassing or when nobody understood their vision, as well as going when people laughed. They kept going when the momentum slowed down. They kept going when they were exhausted. And eventually, that consistency compounds into a life most people only talk about. The truth is, most people pull their foot off the gas too early. They get a little success and become comfortable, or they hit resistance and they lose confidence. And finally, they allow other people's opinions to drain the momentum. The momentum matters more than most people realize because once you build discipline, confidence, experience, and resilience together, you become difficult to stop. That's when growth becomes dangerous in the best way possible. Not because nobody can criticize you anymore, but because criticism no longer controls your direction. And that's the freedom. So if you're sitting right now with a dream in your heart, listen carefully. Go after it. Even if you didn't come from money, even if nobody around you understands your vision, even if you don't have connections, and if people are laughing at your goals or you fail the first time, do it anyway. Because the people who change their lives are usually the ones crazy enough to keep believing when the results don't show up yet. If you have the work ethic, discipline, willingness to outwork the person next to you, if you can stay focused while everybody else gets distracted, your life can change completely. Never let another person's limited thinking decide how far you can go. Because if you constantly listen to people who never built the life you want, eventually you'll end up living the life exactly like them. At some point, you have to trust yourself enough to build your own road, not the safe road, the expected road, your road. And understand this, the people who make the biggest impact in your life, are usually the people who stopped waiting for permission and decided to pave their own path. And that's what the goal lining is really about. It's about understanding the struggles, the rejection, the doubt, and loneliness, or even failures, not signs to stop. They are part of the process shaping you into who you're meant to become. So keep going, keep building, keep believing in yourself, even when nobody else fully sees your vision yet. Because one day, the life you're fighting for right now will become the life that people will talk about later. Now, my name is Krishnathu, and this is The Golden Lining. And if this message spoke to you, make sure you like and subscribe. Share this with people or somebody who needs the reminder that the future does not have to look like their past. Most